I fell in love with a secret guard, but he found me annoying. So, I ambushed his master 13 times in a single day. He had to emerge from the shadows to stop me, his expression growing more solemn each time.
It is one thing for you to chase me, but why do you attack my master every single time?
If I don't attack your master, how else would you come out to see me?
That actually made a lot of sense. If you want to see me, use this. Just blow it, and I'll hear you.
He handed me a bamboo leaf, demanding I stop making things difficult for his master for no reason. I won't do it again. Then, I immediately turned around and attacked his master again. I could feel it when his sword thrust out from the shadows. It was definitely filled with genuine killing intent. The storybooks always say that bickering and fighting are signs of affection, and that fighting eventually leads to falling in love. Why isn't it working for me?
Don't read those bizarre, nonsensical books anymore.
You're actually starting to care about my mental well-being.
I always thought you were just a fool who couldn't understand reason. It turns out you were just deluded by those storybooks.
If she actually believes those storybooks, doesn't that still make her a fool?
While traveling the martial world, I fell in love with Shen Yan at first sight. It was snowing heavily that day. I was crouching in the snow, trying to catch a wild rabbit. The moment the rabbit appeared, I lunged forward. To my surprise, what I grabbed wasn't a rabbit, but a hand with well-defined knuckles. I looked up, intending to say, "I rule this road, and this rabbit is mine to slay," only to lock eyes with a pair of amber eyes. Amber eyes amidst the pure white snow. They were beautiful enough to kill. At that moment, Buddha. I had an epiphany. He didn't seem to expect anyone to be in this wilderness. In his surprise, he swung his hand down to strike me. I tilted my head to dodge it, taking the opportunity to grab his hand in my palms and rubbed it playfully to please him. Honestly, how can you go out in such cold weather without gloves? Look how freezing your hand is.
Who are you?
And that was our first meeting. I thought it was very romantic.
Keep dreaming.
I clung to him, following him back to his carriage convoy. Using my superb culinary skills, I roasted an incredibly delicious rabbit, winning everyone's approval.
Haha.
So you're a secret guard. Are secret guards also responsible for catching rabbits?
If we don't catch rabbits, what do we eat?
We'd have to stop at taverns. What is your name?
No comment.
Who are you protecting?
Haha, Shen Yan. The rabbit the little girl roasted just now was quite delicious. Why don't you roast another one? I'm not full yet.
Then why don't you have Shen Yan go catch one?
Haha. Wouldn't it be even better if the two of you went to catch one together?
The man in the carriage was a wise one. The moment he said those words, I instantly found him highly agreeable. Makes sense, Shen Yan, let's go. Shen Yan was very disgusted by me. He refused to catch rabbits with me and dragged another secret guard along instead.
Why are you following me?
I told you I fell in love with you at first sight.
Keep dreaming.
Really?
Don't you have anything better to do? How long do you plan on following me?
I travel the martial world, helping the weak and upholding justice.
Leaving him would be the ultimate act of upholding justice. That would be a truly virtuous deed, a wonderful thing.
Any direction is a path. Can't I also uphold justice by following you?
Keep dreaming.
Haha, when it comes to pursuing Shen Yan, I won't play the hero. I'll just be a shameless pest. As the saying goes, A persistent suitor can wear down any defense. The shadow guard is afraid of me. Afraid of me. Let me tell you about my life story and my hobbies.
This subordinate requests to withdraw and guard from the shadows.
Shen Yan requested his master to guard from the shadows, and then he vanished. As I travel the martial world, I may have nothing else, but I have plenty of tricks up my sleeve. I immediately found the loophole in Shen Yan's plan. As long as someone attacks his master, he is bound to step in and save him. So, I ambushed that carriage 13 times in a single day. Shen Yan came out from the shadows to stop me. His expression growing more serious each time. Ah! Let's see where you can hide now. Actually, I could tell. There were times he didn't want to make a move either, but his hands reacted faster than his brain. It is an occupational hazard for a shadow guard.
Little girl, if you keep tossing things around like this, my old bones won't be able to take it. Haha, how about we take a break today?
Uncle, I was just putting on a show. I didn't even use my inner energy. If you make Shen Yan come out and travel with the convoy, I won't make a move anymore.
How did I suddenly become an uncle?
Hey, you just called yourself old bones a moment ago. Shen Yan.
I already agreed to fight you once a day. What more do you want?
I just want to be able to see you every single moment.
You. Don't let your eyes wander around. Amitabha, are you perhaps a fox spirit?
Ha ha ha. I'll take that as a compliment on my looks. To travel the martial world, besides having high martial arts skills, one must also have a brain. My masters said, there are always temptresses and seducers in the martial world who use their beauty to deceive and harm people. To avoid being tricked, one must be even more charming than them. This skill of throwing winks took my master a long time to train me in. When I was practicing, my eyes cramped up over 100 times. I don't know if my winks actually worked. But that night, Shen Yan requested his master again and reappeared in the convoy.
Little girl, I want to eat rabbit.
Turns out he acts like we're old friends. He makes his demands so naturally. Go ahead and eat then.
Isn't it because the people on our side don't roast it well?
He put it rather euphemistically. In fact, those people didn't just roast it poorly. It was practically setting fire to the mountain and ruining the ingredients. It was like a crime scene. Okay, why do you want to eat rabbit in the middle of the night? Rabbits are hard to catch at night.
Why don't you have Shen Yan go with you to catch one? It is fine if they're hard to catch. If you two spend more time, you'll catch one eventually.
Though I couldn't see his face, I already regarded him as a soulmate. Shen Yan, let's go.
What are you doing? Do you want to hit me? Don't you want any money?
Actually, I have plenty of money. If you don't have any, you can ask me for some to borrow.
Didn't you say you like me?
Yes.
You won't even give me a little money. And you dare say you like me.
How did he suddenly become so sharp-tongued?
Ha 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 ha. Look at you pretending. You couldn't hold back this time, could you?
Pretending what? How bizarre. During this period, I had actually caught rabbits with Shen Yan several times. Not just rabbits. We also caught wild pheasants and ducks a few times. But none of those times were as difficult as today. It is nighttime after all. The rabbits had gone to sleep long ago. How could they be so easy to catch? We were practically waiting idly for a miracle. Shen Yan remained silent. He completely closed off his presence. Like a lurking beast. Both dangerous and captivating. Just when I couldn't wait any longer. I wanted to turn around and tell Shen Yan what I found, but he had already shot forward like an arrow from a bow, pouncing toward the rabbit. Oh my! In his hand, he was holding a hand. A delicate, soft hand of a woman. Could the rabbit have turned into a human spirit? My eyes widened in surprise. I quickly used my movement technique and landed right next to Shen Yan. The person Shen Yan was holding was actually a delicate young lady dressed in a snow-white gown. The only splash of color on her entire body was the red on her lips, yet it made her look breathtakingly beautiful. It is a good thing this was written by the same author. Otherwise, a move like yours would be considered plagiarism. Don't you get it?
Are you catching rabbits?
That is right, we caught it to roast it. Before the words had even left my mouth, the girl's eyes instantly welled with tears and turned red, as if she had suffered some immense grievance.
How can you eat rabbits?
The girl in white, her eyes welling with tears, said this in a heartbroken voice. I felt the air around us grow a bit thin.
Hey, wait. You guys. Wait a minute, that rabbit is mine. It hurts so much. Young master, save me.
This girl is quite a character. Her ankles swelled up visibly to the naked eye, yet she didn't make a sound. She only wore a deeply aggrieved expression, staring straight at Shen Yan, biting her lip as if holding back her words. My goodness. The moment I saw that look in her eyes, I understood completely. I had met my match. I had finally run into the kind of temptress my master always talked about.
Then come with us. It is not safe for an injured person to be alone.
Huh? Why was he so agreeable? I gave him a suspicious look. Why didn't I get this kind of treatment back then? I had to shamelessly roast several rabbits for them before the caravan finally accepted me. I was very displeased. These days, can you just pick up any random person and bring them into the caravan? How could he have no sense of caution at all? I completely forgot that I had barged into the caravan in the exact same bizarre way.
Carry her on your back.
Me? I'm carrying her?
Or should I do it?
No, no, no. How could we let Shen Yan carry her? What if she used some kind of witchcraft to seduce him? Even I haven't been carried by Shen Yan yet. I couldn't let her get that advantage. I'll do it. Come, come, come. Sister, this young hero loves helping others. I'll give you a piggyback ride.
Young master, Lian'er wants you to carry her.
Oh my goodness, this name is just too typical. The Temptress Manual, written by my master. Did she steal it and memorize the whole thing?
Give me a reason why I should carry you.
Young master, you are so kind to take Lian'er in. Lian'er is deeply grateful. If young master wishes, Lian'er will repay you in any way.
Watching from the side, I just wanted to applaud. This move is called offering oneself in gratitude. Once a beauty uses it with tears in her eyes, it is almost always invincible. But Shen Yan is indeed the man I chose. He clearly does not belong to that majority.
In that case, thank you, young lady.
What did you say?
Look how stunned the poor girl was. She even blurted out her regional dialect. Didn't you want to repay him? Just give him this rabbit of yours. But the trap you wanted to use was a honey trap, not a food trap, right?
If you think one rabbit isn't enough.
Lian'er is willing to offer her own body.
I've been quite short on money lately. That jade piece on your waist looks decent. Of course, it would be best if you just gave me banknotes directly.
After saying this, he didn't forget to glance at me, as if to say, look at the mess you've made. Lian'er opened her mouth, but in the end, no words came out. I feel like her career as a temptress might have met its greatest adversary today. She is still too young, unable to keep her composure. If the battle plan failed, we can just try again. I wanted to offer Lian'er a word of encouragement, but remembering I still had to compete with her in throwing winks later, so I'd better not get too friendly just yet. It is late at night. Let's head back to the caravan first, lest your master gets anxious waiting.
Humph. He won't starve to death.
What kind of grudge is this? Didn't he just dock your salary for a few months? Is that really necessary? As I carried Lian'er on my back, I couldn't help but wonder. For some reason, Shen Yan had suddenly become incredibly sharp-tongued today. Wasn't he just rendered speechless by my anger earlier? Could he have evolved from being so angry? Shen Yan vanished into the snowy landscape in just a few bounds, without the slightest intention of showing tenderness to a beautiful woman. Carrying Lian'er on my back, I followed lightly behind him. The fragrance from her body kept wafting into my nose, making me want to sneeze. Aku, sister. Who exactly are you? Why did you suddenly appear in this desolate wilderness?
I came out to enjoy the snow and lost my way.
Oh, then let me take you to a clinic.
No, It hurts so much. I won't make it to a clinic. I want to go with you.
Won't traveling with us make it hurt even more? Are you not going to treat it? Do you heal yourself through photosynthesis?
I fell in love with that young master at first sight. He saved me. When I look at him, it doesn't hurt anymore.
Shen Yan, who was ahead, seemed to let out a chuckle. He was too far away for me to hear clearly. This is just too fake. Do you even know him? Love at first sight, indeed.
Little sister, we both have the same goal. So stop pretending. You and I both know very well who he is.
I really don't know who Shen Yan is. I wanted to ask more, but unfortunately, his lightness skill was too good, and we had already reached the caravan's campsite. Your injury.
It is fine. I brought medicine with me.
Professional. Her dedication as a temptress shows incredibly high professional standards.
Hey, wait a minute. My fellow colleague, let's not beat around the bush. This job, let me have it. Once it is done, I will reward you handsomely.
What job?
There are only the two of us here. Why are you still playing dumb? We are both here for that person. Be straightforward. If you refuse to do this the easy way and insist on the hard way, then don't blame me for being ruthless when the time comes.
I feel that Lian'er is completely misunderstanding me. Who is that person? And what job? Can you speak more clearly? I am so incredibly confused.
Forget it. It doesn't matter if you're unwilling. We'll just have to see who has the better skills.
So dedicated. Her leg is swollen like this, yet she still doesn't forget to seduce him. If there is a chance, I must introduce her to Master. Standing there, I admired Lian'er's figure for quite a while. I suddenly remembered that I was also in love with Shen Yan.
Young master, the rabbit is so pitiful. Could you please not kill it? Let's raise it together.
The first move, kind-hearted and pitiful.
My leg hurts so much. Young master, please rub it for me.
What are you rushing for? The next step is clearly to throw yourself at him. I feel like Lian'er might have bought a pirated copy of Master's Guide. Those book merchants are so shameless.
Are you that free?
No, I'm not free. I was just admiring your vigorous posture while slaughtering the rabbit.
The rabbit is ready. I must trouble you, miss, to roast it and deliver it to the carriage.
Shen Yan finally smiled at me. Okay, whatever you say is fine. Master said my smile is very endearing. It wasn't easy to get Shen Yan to be polite to me, so I must show my best self. Shen Yan, I'll roast the rabbit here. What are you going to do then? Why don't you stay and keep me company?
I, of course, must have a good chat with Miss Lian'er.
What kind of move is this? Has my great technique lost its effect? Lian'er didn't expect this either. She quickly threw an affectionate, flirtatious wink at Shen Yan, while not forgetting to give me a provocative look. Death before dishonor. Her behavior is not only looking down on me, but also an insult to my master. I actually forgot to be jealous. Shouldn't I be jealous at a time like this? But I feel like Shen Yan has changed somehow. He doesn't seem like a secret guard, but more like a young martial arts hero. My master wrote in his book that when a man learns how to flirt, it usually means he has fallen in love. So frustrating, why couldn't I charm him? Forget it, whatever. I should focus on being jealous first. Shen Yan is walking too fast. I lie flat next to the dirt mound to eavesdrop. When he was talking to Lian'er, they seemed to be already halfway through their conversation. I could only faintly hear.
What are you saying, young master? I don't understand.
You two came out to deceive people. Why didn't you change your tricks?
Huh? Does Lian'er have an accomplice? Why didn't I see them? Where is the person?
Do you martial arts people? Are you always this careless when keeping watch?
I was just worried about you. You left with that enchantress, and you won't even let me be jealous?
Do you know where Lian'er went?
Ah, you were just with her and you don't know. How would I know?
She tried to get close to me just now, accidentally slipped, and fell into the ditch.
I always feel like Shen Yan is killing the chicken to warn the monkey. Actually, you kicked her down, didn't you?
Aren't you going to help her up?
Actually, we martial arts enchantresses are not all as incompetent as Lian'er. You must not look down on our entire group just because of one person. He and I stared at each other for a long time. Lian'er finally crawled out of the ditch. Seeing me and Shen Yan holding hands and gazing at each other, her legs went weak and she fell back down again. It is understandable. With an industry giant like me standing in front of her, it is normal to feel a lot of pressure. But seeing her face covered in black dirt reminded me of something. I ran out to act jealous and left the rabbit on the fire. By now, I'm afraid it has been roasted as black as Lian'er's face. Oh heavens. I endured so much to roast this. I've been roasting this rabbit for so many days. I was planning to make my move today. How could I forget my main business at such a crucial moment? So what if Shen Yan and that enchantress hug? Why was I in such a hurry? It really is burnt black. How tragic. Actually, if I scrape off the burnt parts, it should still be edible, right? Besides, with a burnt flavor, won't it mask the taste of the even better? I really am a little genius. You're trying to scare me to death.
It is burnt. Do you have any way to get rid of the burnt smell? Like sprinkling some powder or something?
No.
No, what a pity.
Something is wrong. Why is my heart beating faster and faster? The sorcery master talked about. It seems Shen Yan knows it too. Ah. Hey. I think Shen Yan is a very vengeful person. His master docked his salary for a few months, so he slacks off on the job and badmouths his boss behind his back. Now, he is actually too lazy to even hand over the rabbit and just throws it over. But I soon realized I was wrong. It is a night raid. Actually, I noticed a long time ago that people were secretly following the carriage convoy at least 3 waves a day, but they were all easily dealt with by Shen Yan and the others. This time, the attack is fierce and aggressive. Watching coldly from the side, I can see there are quite a few experts among them. Just who is the owner of this carriage? To attract such top-tier experts to attack, and to have someone like Shen Yan guarding him.
Getting distracted during a fight is not a good habit.
Shen Yan, the people sent this time are different. The other teams might have been discovered.
I keenly caught his underlying meaning. Does this mean they are being hunted down? They split into several teams to retreat and confuse the enemy. The previous assassins were just testing the waters, but the ones who came this time are much stronger than before. This shows the enemy has already discovered that the people in this convoy are the ones they are looking for. Who are they looking for? The owner of the carriage.
What a great sword.
I have always liked elegant and beautiful swordplay, believing that a martial artist should be graceful, self-possessed, and full of poise. But I never expected that simple and clean sword strikes could also look so beautiful. Shen Yan's moves are definitely not the flashy tricks favored by young martial artists, but rather practical and lethal moves. I clutched my hand where Shen Yan had just touched it. The spot he caressed is so hot, even hotter than my face. I might be blushing.
Why is your face as red as a rabbit is eyes? Ha ha ha.
It is from the cold. Huh. He looks a bit familiar, but I can't remember who he is. My reason for joining the convoy was falling in love with Shen Yan at first sight. How could I only just now be falling for him? But after the carriage owner said those words, my mind went completely blank. My temples are throbbing, and my eyes are filled only with Shen Yan's swift, dragon-like figure. I can't think straight at all. Once Shen Yan stepped in, the chaos was quickly brought to an end. We spoke at the same time and stopped at the same time. I recalled what the carriage owner just said, and my face flushed hot all over again. We spoke at the same time and stopped at the same time. I fell into the secret joy of our perfect chemistry and quickly gestured for him to speak first. After you.
You were distracted just now. I saved your life.
Why is this conversation different from what I imagined? I suddenly feel shy. Is Shen Yan hinting that I should offer myself to him in gratitude? Isn't this a bit too fast? Generally speaking, shouldn't I play hard to get and refuse him twice? And then, under his sincere confession, blush and nod in agreement? Highs. It seems my enchantress arts are still far from perfected. With Lian'er's cautionary tale fresh in mind, how could I have such ridiculous thoughts?
Your soft sword is quite nice.
If I still didn't understand what he meant by now, I would be a complete fool. If I still didn't understand what he meant by now, I would be a complete fool. I have another one at home. I'll give it to you then. What are you smiling at? You look like a fool.
Change of plans. We go through Yancheng.
Yancheng is close but heavily guarded.
Ju is also on his way to Yancheng.
This will throw a wrench in his plans.
The carriage convoy traveled swiftly, reaching Yancheng just as dawn broke in the east. Lian'er had already slipped away during yesterday's enemy attack. She probably knew she had lost to me and left out of sheer embarrassment when the towering city walls of Yancheng appeared before us. The atmosphere in the entire convoy grew tense. They were nervous. It seemed getting through Yancheng wouldn't be easy.
Come, son, daughter-in-law. Help this old man down.
I knew that my speechlessness and Shen Yan's speechlessness stemmed from completely different feelings. I was getting a massive bargain here, while Shen Yan was the one being thoroughly taken advantage of.
How about this? I'll add another half year's pay, all right? 1 year, not a penny more. Since you two are putting on an act, you need to change how you behave as a married couple. What kind of couple is as distant as you two? Link arms.
I felt that if he hadn't just promised Shen Yan a year's pay, Shen Yan might have lost his temper right then and there. Just how high was his pay anyway? To endure even this for the sake of money, I wonder if I'll be able to afford him in the future.
The secret to acting is all about being genuine. If you want others to believe you, you must first believe it yourself. Shen Yan, why are you so stiff? Get closer to her. Can't you get even closer?
Leaning against his chest, I could hear his heartbeat clearly. Once again, my face flushed red in a very unpromising display.
Your wife's face is so red. Could she be sick? Feel her forehead.
Were you sent by heaven just to test Shen Yan's limits?
That is enough.
Enter the city.
I had to admit, the old man's acting was superb. He played the role of a wealthy nouveau rich old man, traveling with his son and daughter-in-law to absolute perfection without raising the slightest suspicion from the city guards.
We clearly look like distinguished, extraordinary people. We need to keep a high profile. If we disguised ourselves as peasants, no one would believe it anyway. Is there any peasant as good-looking as Shen Yan?
I thought he had a point. Looking at our clasped hands, I wanted to smile, but felt it would be inappropriate given the situation.
Should we seal her pressure points?
No need.
I guess they were talking about me. As expected, I really am a clever enchantress, far more skilled than Lian'er. Gaining their trust so quickly. Haha. Entering the city went smoothly for the convoy, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief.
Rest up. Check if Ju has arrived yet, and where he is staying.
So, who exactly is this Jew? Does he have a grudge against you?
Young hero Shen, how about this room?
Fine.
Ah, this isn't very appropriate, is it? Heh. Shen Yan actually, besides roasting rabbits, I'm also really good at making braised ribs. I'll make them for you next time. Your martial arts are so incredible. You must have suffered a lot as a child, right? I trained under my master since I was a child. It took 10 years of training to achieve this level of skill. Even now, when I think about practicing horse stances under the blazing sun, I still feel exhausted. Once you're done with your business, will you come home with me? My family still has a flexible sword. If you don't go, I won't know where to find you, right? About that flexible sword, I was too embarrassed to tell Shen Yan. It is the dragon and phoenix swords that Master found. Naturally, I used the phoenix sword. As for the dragon sword, Master said, I should give it to my destined partner in the future. I didn't mean that he is my destined partner. I just think his swordsmanship is very sharp and clean, so he is suited for that sword, that is all. By the way, are you really short on money? If you're really short on money, I can lend you some. I often go on escort missions. I'm actually very capable. I've inherited my master's true teachings. I can fight and I can use poison. In the martial world, they call me the lone flower of the escort route.
I'm going to cause some trouble for someone tonight. What kind of poison do you have?
This.
Isn't this? What is this?
A powerful laxative. Handmade by my master. An absolute masterpiece.
This is a laxative. Give it to me.
I want to go with you.
It is dangerous.
It is precisely because it is dangerous that I want to go with you.
Is what you said true?
Guaranteed honest and true.
Fine. Keep close when the time comes.
Wow! Miss, your braised ribs smell absolutely delicious.
I was getting a bit anxious. I didn't bring much medicine with me on this trip. I still have to give some to Shen Yan in a bit. What if he runs out? Wouldn't my mission fail then? Then Master definitely wouldn't let me complete my apprenticeship.
What are you doing here?
Nothing. I just thought this door looked quite nice.
Did you make food?
No.
Then what is this?
I just made it for fun.
Liar.
I wanted to argue back, but the moment I looked up, I met those amber eyes. And my confidence instantly deflated. I couldn't help but curse myself for being so infatuated.
Do you have night travel clothes? We'll need them tonight.
How could anyone travel the martial world without night travel clothes? I had originally planned to wear my night travel clothes in the middle of the night to secretly poison the old man. It is just that when I saw Shen Yan, I slightly adjusted my strategy, that is all. After all, slipping him the drug secretly isn't very realistic. Of course, it is better to build a good relationship with the caravan first before doing it, before slipping the poison. Anyway, I will absolutely never admit that I changed my mind because I was captivated by his looks.
Go back and prepare. They will bring back the layout map of that inn.
I looked back at the sweet and sour ribs longingly, but I didn't dare show it lest I arouse his suspicion. Speaking of which, did he suspect me? Probably not, right? But the sweet and sour ribs have medicine in them. What if someone accidentally eats them? That probably won't happen. Who would be so mindless as to eat food left in the hallway? Aren't they afraid of poison? Thinking this way, I felt relieved. After planning the infiltration and escape routes, we quietly waited for nightfall. Shen Yan, dressed in his night traveling gear, exuded an aura of danger from head to toe. Yet in an instant, he could disguise himself as completely harmless. He was incredibly adept at this kind of transition. I too was gradually beginning to catch on. Perhaps when we first met, his dullness and reticence were all an act. The way he was now was his true self. But why did he stop hiding it from me? I couldn't figure it out.
Distracted again, stay close to me in a moment.
When leaping onto the eaves, I didn't make a single sound, which actually earned me a look of respect from him. Seeing the admiration in his eyes, my heart started racing again. Was I actually looking forward to him seeing me in a new light?
It really is a laxative.
What do you mean, really?
It was meant to be one all along. Okay. I originally planned to sabotage this group's carriages, but if the carriages are broken, they can just buy new ones. It wouldn't be as effective as my laxative. It will definitely hold them back for at least a day.
If the doctor is highly skilled, 2 days. If they are suspicious and don't dare to see a doctor, it will be more than just 2 days. It can drain a person to the point of collapse. This is a medicine my master made with absolute resentment. How could it not be powerful?
Is your master's last name Guan?
How did you know?
So that is how it is.
How is what? What are you talking about?
When you go back, roast a rabbit for him. He loves eating your cooking.
Seeing that I couldn't get any answers, I had no choice but to follow him back obediently. I roasted the rabbit and carried it upstairs, only to find shadows flitting about in the carriage owner's room. It was extremely noisy.
Shen Yan, come quickly and take a look. What is wrong with the master? He has been sitting on the commode since a moment ago. After going back and forth several times, his face has turned completely pale.
I guiltily glanced at the wooden shelf in the hallway. Sure enough, the sweet and sour ribs Shen Yan had placed there were gone. Oh my goodness. So there really are such brainless people in this world. If you had just held back for half an hour, you wouldn't have to suffer like this.
I know it is my fault. I will never get to eat the sweet and sour ribs she makes again. When I saw the ribs left outside the door, I thought she had forgiven me. Only after eating them did I realize she still resents me.
It is not resentment, it is deep-seated hatred.
Why did you stop pretending?
Master said as long as it succeeded, it is fine. The uncle won't make things difficult for me.
What else did she say? Did she ever mention me to you?
Yes.
What did she say?
Master said she has a person she hates most in the world, and she wanted me to deal with him. I asked her how annoying he was. She said he is the kind of annoying person who would snatch away the roasted rabbit you were just about to eat. Master said you have no conscience and are completely shameless. She never wants to see you again in her life. She said even if you succeed in the future, do not look for her. Her children are already old enough to run errands.
Women always say the opposite of what they mean.
I couldn't help but think he was just afraid the carriage owner would get angry and no one would pay his wages, which is why he spoke up to comfort him.
So you are. You're already this old.
Old my foot. I am 21 years old this year. Master is only 9 years older than me. He actually suspected that I was Master's child. I am just a little cutie whom Master picked up by the roadside 10 years ago and raised herself. Uncle, I send you greetings on behalf of my mother. Then I turned around and left, not bothering to care whether he was angered to death or angered back to life. At night, I summoned the carrier pigeon that had been following me all along to send a secret letter to my master, telling her that the job was done. The carriage owner felt much better after seeing the doctor, but my master's medicine was far too potent. I leaned against the windowsill, looking at the moon, thinking about it carefully, recalling the symptoms of that crowd in the courtyard earlier. I couldn't help but feel that the potency of this medicine seemed to be even more terrifying than her estimation. As for why it was an estimation, how could she be foolish enough to test the medicine on herself? This is bad. with it being so strong? Could it accidentally poison the carriage owner to death? Although my master had always told me that the carriage owner was a complete bastard, and that even if I didn't know him, just seeing his sanctimonious appearance would make it obvious that he was an obnoxious jerk, I knew that she still couldn't let go of him in her heart. Just now, I finally remembered why the carriage owner looked so familiar to me. Isn't he the man in the painting that my master hid away? When I was a child, my master always hid the delicious food and wouldn't let me eat it, saying she was starving my body to prepare me for great things. But I thought she was just greedy and unwilling to share with me, so I often sneaked into her room to look for food. Once, I accidentally found a brocade box. Upon opening it, I saw a painting inside. Once, I accidentally found a brocade box. Upon opening it, I saw a painting inside. It depicted an elegant and handsome man. His features were somewhat blurred, but the artistic conception was superb. Beside it, written in my master's beautiful regular script, was the carefully inscribed character Bei. If this wasn't affection for him, then all the romance novels I've read over the years would have been in vain. So, the carriage owner is technically my master's wife. Grand Master. Master-in-law. Forget it. I'll just call him uncle. The more I thought about it, the more worried I became. My master has always held a deep resentment toward uncle. I don't know what happened back then, but she gritted her teeth whenever he was mentioned, which was why she ordered me to come and poison him. But the more I thought about it, the more I felt that her intentions lay elsewhere. Uncle is clearly in trouble right now. Why did my master insist that I come down the mountain to mess with him at this exact moment? She even repeatedly instructed me to ensure his safety before administering the poison. She said if he died, she wouldn't be able to poison him to vent her anger. I finally understood my master's deep intentions. Actually, she just wanted me to protect Uncle, didn't she? It must be so. She had actually stopped being angry with Uncle long ago. She was worried that Uncle was in trouble, but she couldn't bring herself to swallow her pride and seek him out. So she sent me to get close to him. She claimed it was to poison him, but in truth, it was to add a layer of security for him. When the time comes, their reconciliation will happen naturally. My brain is simply too brilliant. Excited, I rewarded myself with a chicken leg, but as I chewed, I lost my appetite again. My master cares so much about Uncle. If I accidentally kill him this time, since this is an antidote, I don't have one from my master. I nearly pulled all my hair out in frustration. After weighing my options, I decided to go check on Uncle, just in case he unfortunately kicked the bucket, which would bring misery to my master. I tiptoed out of my room and made my way toward Uncle's room. Going to someone else's room in the middle of the night, the most awkward thing is running into someone who has the exact same purpose as you. Looking at the figure in black night gear before me, I froze, a bit confused by the situation. In the dead of night, appearing in front of Uncle's room and attacking without a word. If this person wasn't my master's love rival, then they must be an assassin.
Huh. I happened to acquire a treasure yesterday. Why don't I test it out with you, beauty?
His lightness skill wasn't weak, but his inner strength was lacking. His foundation is far less solid than mine. Under my assault, he can only dodge left and right, creating a strange sort of balance.
A feisty one. I like it. Haha.
I twirled my sword into a flurry of strikes, hemming him in, intent on taking his life, but I failed to notice a faintly scented mist spreading around him. As the fight went on, I finally realized something was wrong. My stamina shouldn't have given out so quickly, yet my hands were now growing weak. When I tried to channel my inner energy, my entire body went completely limp. Despicable. I was furious. This bastard actually resorted to such underhanded tactics, using aphrodisiacs because you can't win a fair fight. How dishonorable. Since you played dirty first, don't blame me for being ruthless.
To still be able to use your inner energy after being hit by my drug, I must say you're impressive, but forcing your energy like that only makes the drug work faster, which works out perfectly for me. My beautiful lady, don't waste your breath. This is some good stuff. Why don't you experience it with me?
He laughed aloud and reached out to grab my arm, only for his expression to change in the next second. He retreated several steps in a hurry. My wrist was caught by someone, and in a dizzying blur, I fell into a firm embrace. There was a faint scent of medicine. It was Shen Yan. I struggled to look up. Sure enough, I saw his lips pressed into a tight line, as if he were furious with me. I didn't even cling to you. So why are you angry?
You're asking for death.
You? How could you be here? I was just hired by someone to scout the place. I don't know anything. If I had known you were here, I would never have dared to get involved in this mess.
Hand over the antidote.
Forgive me, Manor Lord. This is a new toy I just acquired. There is no antidote yet.
What kind of drug is this?
Oh, come on, Manor Lord. What else would a petty thief like me carry? Don't kill me.
If there is no antidote, then die.
I really don't have it. Even if you kill me, I still can't produce one, Manor Lord. This drug is extremely potent. Without that, she will die.
Hey, wake up. Can you hear me?
What? Hey. Call me Xiao Feng. Master always calls me that. I'll allow you to call me that today too. Within half a month, destroy your own martial arts and go to the manor to receive your punishment. If you ever do this again, I will end you myself.
Thank you, Manor Lord, for sparing my life. Rest assured, Manor Lord, I won't say a single word about what happened today. I'll make up a fake trail for Zhang and tell them that.
Get out.
Thank you, Manor Lord.
Shen Yan.
Xiao Feng, let go.
No. Just because you tell me to let go, I have to let go. Remembering how he had held Lian'er like this the other day, I felt even angrier and punched him in the chest. How dare you hold her? How dare you?
Xiao Feng, I only hug you.
I don't believe you, Master said. All men are liars. Prove it to me.
Be good. Stop fooling around. I'd rather not have this kind of proof.
So hot. I'm going crazy. Shen Yan, I'm hot. How did I end up lying on top of Shen Yan? Shen Yan was resting with his eyes closed, but my scream woke him right up.
You're awake.
His indifferent gaze swept across my face. I suddenly felt extremely guilty. Why on earth did I feel guilty? Shen Yan quickly gave me the answer.
Female. Hooligan.
My face instantly flushed bright red. Fragments of last night's scenes flashed through my mind. I was so ashamed and embarrassed that I just wanted to sink into the ground. Shen Yan, I'm hot. Let me kiss you. I just want to kiss you once. I'm very reasonable. Don't push me away. I like you the most. Shen Yan, I'm not hot anymore. It is so cold, I want a hug. Shen Yan. My mind blew up. What on earth did I do to Shen Yan yesterday? I looked at Shen Yan with a face full of shock. For a moment, I didn't know whether to scramble and run away or thank him for saving my life.
You remember now. Nothing you want to say.
I'm sorry. I was wrong to take liberties with you yesterday.
That is it?
What else could there be? I was dazed for a moment, then suddenly remembered that Shen Yan loves money. I'll pay you. I'll give you all my savings as soon as I get back.
So, after a night of passion, you plan to turn your back and deny everything?
What night of passion? You were clearly the one who threw me into the water, bled me, and transferred internal energy into me, leaving me half dead from all the tossing, okay? Then what do you want?
You took liberties with me. I want you to take responsibility for me.
When Shen Yan and I returned to the inn, the place was in complete ruins.
Ha 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 ha.
What are you laughing at? Your shop has been trashed.
Ha ha. Good trashing. Good trashing. Ha ha. Trash it some more. A big customer came to the shop today. Before long, she started fighting with the guest on the second floor, smashing all the furniture to pieces.
Is she crazy?
Customer, these are ash and elmwood tables of mine.
Shut the hell up. I'll settle the bill with you all at once later.
All right, customer, take your time smashing. If it is not enough, I still have more in my warehouse. I've already sent someone to fetch them. They'll be brought over in a moment.
Master, you, named Zhang.
Where on earth did you take my disciple? She even sent me a message from here last night.
Zhang, don't be angry. I don't know either. My stomach was hurting all night, and now it hurts again. Just wait to die of dehydration.
If you don't hand Xiaofeng over, I won't let you return to the capital of Qi.
Your disciple is definitely fine. On my side, well, Master Shen didn't come back all night either. Don't worry. Don't you know how good his martial arts are?
What? She was with that kid Shen Yan for the whole night.
Ha ha ha.
Go to hell.
Master, I'm back. Master, I'm back.
Is Xiaofeng all right?
Master, I'm doing perfectly fine.
I'll let you off the hook this time.
Haha. Zhang, deep down, you really do.
Don't flatter yourself. If my disciple hadn't taken a liking to your guard, I wouldn't have bothered to wade into this mess.
I stood aside, trembling with fear, but I still wanted to say, Master, you've got it backwards. Clearly you were the one who fancied the uncle, which is why I lied to Shen Yan and said I liked him.
Zhang, as soon as Xiaofeng arrived and made that rabbit, I knew she had to be connected to you. She likes Shen Yan, so I even created opportunities to play matchmaker for them.
Trying to abduct my disciple, and you still have the nerve to speak. Xiaofeng, let's not stay around these smelly men.
Master, how did you get here so quickly? Master, how did you get here so quickly?
Wasn't it because I was worried about you? I've been following you guys from 10 miles back.
What do you mean worried about me? Clearly, you were worried about your old flame.
Third girl, you've only been out for a few days and you're already mixed up with Shen Yan. You must not get too close to him.
What is wrong with Shen Yan? Do you not get along with him?
You only need to know that this kid holds an extreme grudge. The last person who offended and deceived him already has grass growing 6 feet high over their grave. Your master only relied on her own supreme martial arts to avoid ending up in such a miserable state.
I shuddered. Never mind. What happened to the last person who offended Shen Yan? In short, I just offended him yesterday. After taking liberties with him, I even used money to insult him. Right, and to get close to the uncle. I also lied to him, saying I liked him. Plus, Master actually has a grudge against him too. This. I'm probably doomed. Hais. When I was little, Master told me not to keep lying to her for no reason, or the delicious food would be gone. I didn't take it seriously back then. Looking at it now, children who tell lies really do face retribution. It is all the uncle's fault. Why did he have to be in the same caravan as Shen Yan? Just what kind of trouble did the uncle get into to have to hide and run like this? Come with me.
Master grabbed me and leaped onto the roof.
Seeing that no one was around, she finally filled me in on all the gossip.
The uncle is a prince of the state of Qi. In his early years, he was not favored by the emperor and was instead persecuted by treacherous officials. Out of desperation, he fled the state of Qi. His brother Ju also fled at the same time. Mr. is a prince of the state of Qi. In his early years, he was not favored by the emperor. Instead, he was persecuted by treacherous officials. With no other choice, he fled the state of Qi. His brother Ju also fled at the same time. Now, the ruler of Qi has passed away, leaving no one one to inherit the throne. The clans within Qi that support Mr. and Ju have sent messengers to tell them to hurry back to the country, urging them to travel day and night just to return to the Qie capital before the other party. Whoever arrives first will seize the initiative and claim the throne.
No wonder they sometimes only rested in hidden places, not even staying at inns, and prepared all their own food. I couldn't help but sigh at how difficult the world is. But if he hadn't fled the palace, he wouldn't have met Master. Thinking about it this way, it must be fate. So Shen Yan isn't just an ordinary secret guard, but a top expert uncle recruited to protect him. Then the payment uncle used to negotiate with him must be something extraordinary as well.
The one named Yang was initially targeted for assassination several times by Ju's men. Of course, he retaliated in kind, but this couldn't go on forever. So he asked Shen Yan to protect him and split his people into several groups to create a diversion. With Shen Yan's help, he faked his death once, lowering Ju's guard. Only then did he safely enter the borders of Qi. But I figured Ju must have top experts on his side too.
Shen Yan alone might not be able to protect him. Therefore, you sent me here to drug him. It vents your anger and protects him at the same time, right? I thought to myself, Master, you really know everything about Uncle's whereabouts. You've planned things out so thoroughly for him.
Smart girl, Xiaofeng.
If Lian'er appeared out of nowhere like that, she must be an assassin. Yeah, she probably saw me pestering Shen Yan all the time and mistook him for Uncle, right? Swapping identities between Master and guard to confuse the enemy actually makes a lot of sense. Ha 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 ha. Then Master, who exactly is Shen Yan?
He runs a manor. Nothing much to say. Once Xiang takes the antidote, we'll keep moving. The closer we get, the more dangerous it becomes. Xiaofeng, you shouldn't come along.
Wherever you go, Master, I go.
Silly girl, I will settle my own ill-fated relationship. There is no need to drag you down with me.
Oh, Master. Your disciple is unfilial. I seem to have provoked an ill-fated relationship of my own. I felt very depressed, constantly thinking about how I lied to Shen Yan. I lost my appetite and couldn't sleep. Uncle, on the other hand, was very happy. After taking the antidote, he stared at Master with a pitiful look. For a full half hour, he finally got Master to cook personally and make him a plate of sweet and sour ribs.
It is too conspicuous for Zhang's caravan to go to the capital of Qi, and too slow. Why don't you and I go ahead and reach the capital before Ju? I brought 2 Fergana horses. We'll leave in a moment.
Master, I want to go too.
You are not allowed to go.
Master, you said it is very dangerous. Uncle is so weak. What if your whereabouts are exposed and you get targeted? What if you can't protect him?
So, Zhang, do you really think I'm that weak?
Master, I want to go with you. Isn't Uncle going back to fight for the throne? For something so dangerous, how can just the 2 of you be enough? At least take me with you.
I take money to avert disasters. Since I promised to escort Lord Jiang safely back to the capital of Qi, there is no way I'll give up halfway. I'm going too.
Isn't this a coincidence? We only have 2 horses, but 4 people need to go.
I'll ride with Master.
Are you going to make me and Shen Yan, 2 grown men, share a horse? Even if you 2 can stand it, the horse won't.
I felt very nervous inside and didn't want to ride with him. But then I thought, Master and Uncle have finally reunited with difficulty. If they could share a horse, maybe their feelings would warm up faster. For the sake of her happiness, what did a little grievance matter? So, with a righteous air, I nodded to Master and left with Shen Yan.
Hurry up.
Hey, Zhang, wait for me.
We bid farewell to the caravan and rode ahead. Fergana horses truly deserve their reputation as fine steeds coveted by everyone in the martial world. They run fast and steady. Though the wind is quite strong, encircled by Shen Yan's arms, it was extremely uncomfortable. To avoid making contact with him, I kept leaning forward, almost pressing myself flat against the horse's back.
Are you avoiding me?
No.
Then why are you lying on the horse's back? Aren't you afraid of falling off?
It is very steady. I'm fine. Actually, doing this was quite exhausting. Why don't you lean back a bit?
I am leaning back. How am I supposed to talk to you? Can't you hear me?
I can hear you, but I'll still sit back a bit.
Be good.
Resigned to my fate, I leaned back into Shen Yan's embrace, thinking I should find something to distract myself, but his scent completely enveloped me. His heartbeat pressed against my back, and his breath was right by my ear. There was simply no way for me to escape.
People in the martial arts world must repay favors, right? I saved you yesterday, didn't I?
I began to feel uneasy. Last time, when Lian'er wanted to offer herself to him in marriage to repay him, what did he say again? Give me this rabbit. Lian'er had only sprained her ankle, so she gave him a rabbit as compensation. But yesterday, I took a really nasty fall. If he hadn't saved me, I would have been in serious trouble. I kept feeling like I couldn't afford to repay this life-saving favor. Besides, I had also offended him. He did say he wanted me to take responsibility. How about I write you an IU? I really can't produce that much money all at once. Anyway, uncle will pay you your reward. Just let me defer my part for now. I'll pay you back once I earn money from escorting goods. I promise I won't run away. Don't worry.
Xiaofeng, what is your name?
I suddenly realized with a jolt that after being with the caravan for so long, I had never actually mentioned my name. Master had warned me not to reveal my name before our goal was accomplished. Yesterday, uncle and the others didn't ask, so I had completely forgotten about it. Banfeng. My name is Banfenga.
I can't hear you clearly.
I said my name is Banfenga.
Still can't hear you.
I said, my name is Banfenga. I had to admit, Uncle's trick of playing dumb worked quite well. It tricked Ju into slowing down his pace. By the time we reached the capital of Qi, Ju was probably still sleeping soundly somewhere. However, the families supporting Ju had long since set up an inescapable dragnet in the Qi capital, gathering a horde of martial arts masters in an attempt to stop Uncle in his tracks. Intending to stop Uncle in his tracks, these experts were capable of taking on 100 men each. The guards sent by the family to protect Uncle were simply no match for them. Yet, the moment those martial arts experts saw Shen Yan, they immediately muttered, "Excuse us," and half of them retreated. The remaining half looked as if they had seen a ghost, which made me extremely worried, looking at it this way. Shen Yan was truly a terrifying figure in the martial arts world. Unfortunately, Master had always kept me confined to the mountain. On the rare occasions I went down, it was only to escort goods, so I had never heard of Shen Yan's great name. Seeing how terrified the experts were of him, I felt like apologizing to him all over again.
Sect leader, I'll leave this to you.
Shen Yan drew away most of the opposition, making the remaining small fry incredibly easy to deal with. This time, we really owe that kid Shen Yan a huge favor.
It is more than just a huge favor. Do you know what I promised him? I agreed to rebuild a manor for him, and I even gave him the entire adjacent mountain, not to mention gold, silver, and jewels.
Those are all minor things. You spendthrift to gift him the scenery of the world.
It is all because of you. 2 months ago, you destroyed half of the traps around the outer perimeter of his villa's back mountain, and you left my name behind. You haven't forgotten about that, have you?
You have no conscience. Shen Yan doesn't easily make a move. If I hadn't destroyed his traps for you, would he have come looking for you? Could you have gotten him to protect you otherwise?
The more I listen, the more ridiculous this sounds. Master, are you saying?
The traps we destroyed back then belonged to Shen Yan. I forgot to tell you, he rarely reveals his real name in the martial arts world. Everyone calls him the Master of Hefeng Villa.
Hefeng Villa, that sacred place in the hearts of martial artists? I heard many stories about him when I was working as an escort, eradicating evil and promoting good, helping the weak and bringing peace. The net of heaven has large meshes, yet nothing escapes it. He is the ultimate nemesis of martial arts villains, and the #1 dream lover of every young lady in the martial world. And here I am, both conning people and destroying property. I definitely fall into the evil category to be eliminated, and I was the one who ruined most of those mechanisms. To think they belong to Shen Yan. If he ever finds out about this, how could I possibly survive? Years from now, the grass on my grave would surely be 2 meters high.
My dear, extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures. Besides, I've already looked into it. Those outer traps were set up long ago, and Shen Yan was already planning to replace them. We were actually doing him a favor. The money we're compensating him is enough for him to replace them 10 times over.
But having said that, we are in the wrong after all. Shen Yan is a vengeful man. It is only natural if he holds a grudge against us. Besides, offending him is secondary. The most important thing is that we can't owe him money. After all, he supports a whole mountain of eccentric talents, so it is normal that he values money. I heard that for anyone who owes him money, and doesn't pay. The grass on their graves is already 3 meters high.
3 meters? That is a whole meter higher than those who just offend him. The consequences of owing him rice are way too severe.
But don't worry, Zhang, I've already made arrangements. Doesn't Xiaofeng like Shen Yan? If she ends up with Shen Yan, we will become Shen Yan's elders. Then he naturally won't make things difficult for us.
That is a fantastic idea. But could you at least show some concern for my survival? Master, I am your actual disciple.
Let's leave it at that then.
Leave it at what? Now that you have a lover, you sell out your own disciple. Sobbing, I recalled Shen Yan's extremely cold face. My heart twinged for a moment. Actually, I'm still a little reluctant to leave him. But after all, my life is more important. I'd better hurry up and escape while he is not around. Uncle, congratulations on taking the throne. I'll take my leave now. Sitting on the dragon throne, the uncle complained to Master about how cold it was, not hearing a single word of what I said.
Where did Xiaofeng go?
She must have snuck off to the imperial kitchen. That girl has nothing but food on her mind.
My fleeing footsteps instantly froze. The imperial kitchen. I completely forgot the palace has an imperial kitchen. The food in there must be absolutely delicious. There is still time for me to grab a bite before I run. Once I earn some money from escorting goods, I'll ask Uncle to hand it over to Shen Yan. That way, I won't have to face him myself. Thinking about it this way actually makes me feel a bit melancholy. To cure melancholy, one must drink alcohol. I picked out a jar of wine from the imperial kitchen. Wine that looked absolutely delicious. And with a leap, I jumped onto the roof. Master never took me out to drink alcohol. Not knowing my own tolerance, I drank until the world spun on that rooftop. My whole body felt weak. I didn't even have the strength to stand up anymore. For a moment, a feeling of grievance washed over me. I finally figured it out. I think I really do like Shen Yan, but he probably doesn't believe me anymore, right? I finally fell for someone with great difficulty, yet I offended him so deeply, and my master even has a history with him. This is no way to live. I knew who he was, so I quickly closed my eyes and pretended to be dead.
Drowning your sorrows in alcohol.
You actually guessed that.
Your master said. You were the one who disarmed all the traps in my villa. Do you feel like you owe me too much and can never pay me back?
Is he threatening me? Although I might not be able to pay you back right away, I will work hard to earn the money.
Do you know how Hefeng Villa punishes those who don't pay back their debts? I forbid them from eating meat until they have paid off their debt in full.
Your rule is unreasonable. You're bullying me. I won't be able to pay you back in a lifetime.
Since that is the case, I still have to punish you. How about I punish you by making you travel the world with me?